hopefully it's also self-explanatory.
Okay.
So when I asked Henry, like, what do you want me to share? And he said, oh, share about Sasa Bassac and Sasa Art. He said, okay. So today, yes, I'll talk about two spaces in Phnompehn. One is Sasa Bassac and Sasa Art project, and how we started and how do we run, and the method of our work and the way we engage with the artistic community in Phnompehn. But I just spend more time to talk about Sasa Art project because I think it may relate more to the context of alternative art spaces, and especially now we're here in Tentacles. And if there's anything you want to ask along the way, you can stop me too, okay? So this is the group of our co-founders, or the collective that I am part of, called Sasa Art, that we formed in 2007. But this picture was taken in 2009, when I was very young. Very young. So, then can you find me?
Second from left shirt.
The blue shirt. When I was very young and looking good, now not so much. And so that's nice. So these are the collective Sasa Art, and Sasa Art means young people and art. So like, you know, young people involved in the art. And the idea is that we join a photography class together. Some of the team members, they graduated from Fine Art University, and some are not. So like me, I'm not from the Fine Art background, but I joined the group and we wanted to do something sort of like new in Phnompehn. So and in Phnompehn at that time, there are not many, but like several art spaces in Phnompehn, but they are either owned or managed by foreigners or foreign institutions. So we thought of wanting to start a new space that run by artists, Cambodian artists ourselves. So we started first a small gallery called Sasa Art Gallery in 2009. It's on the side of a restaurant, and very small, tiny, skinny, maybe like 2 doors. These 2 doors, and then running until like this part, something like this, very small. So we got the space for free for first year, and we hosted first exhibition of works from the collective, but later expand to host works by other young photographers and artists as well. We don't know how to run the space. We don't know how to run gallery, but we just try. We learn by doing. So we hosted some exhibition here and there. Look at the space, very small, cute. And we just use our own budget, and some sponsor, we can just make one exhibition to another. No long-term plan, just 1 month plan. And this is the last show that we did as a screening slideshow of photo works. We did outside in front of the restaurant. That's the last the exhibition that we did, because we after about 18 months, it was like really hard to continue. Partly the team resource that we are not, we don't have the skills to run a gallery. We know, like, you know, our team, we don't have the skills to run a gallery, dealing with the sales and all. Even though we don't sell a lot, but still we feel maybe it's not so interesting for us, the team, as artists, and the do something else that engage with something more than exhibition. So the first activity we wanted to teach and share with younger students. So we decided to close that space and join with Erin Gleason. She ran her project at that time called Sasa Art project, which is a curatorial project, and she worked with artists and worked with other spaces and organized exhibitions. So we thought, okay, the spirit of like collectivity and exhibition making that wants to target Cambodian artists but also Cambodian audience. So we want to maintain that spirit, and so we discussed with Erin, and she also wants to open a new gallery. And so we discussed about her vision and what she wants, and so that we see some overlapping. So like, okay, there's a shared interest of wanting to continue engaging with Cambodian artists and also engage more with the Cambodian audience. So we decided to merge together the Sasa Art Gallery with Erin Gleason to become Sasa Bassac, which is a new gallery. And so the focus is that, yes, it's a BIPOC gallery. And in the context of Phnompehn at that time, there was hardly any BIPOC gallery. There's a cafe, there's a sort of like, institution center. So we see there is a need for a BIPOC gallery and want to support Cambodian artists and make exhibition locally and also internationally. Also it is a library and reading room as well. So that's when we started. The first exhibition was by Wandi Ratana in 2011 with his Bomb Plants project. And then another solo exhibition by Yin Nalin. So just an idea about the exhibition and space. So Erin Gleason, she directed the space and she curated and directed the Sasa Bassac. And while we co-founded the space, we involved in the consultation, but the day-to-day job of curating and directing is Erin Gleason. And also, and we still sell about the collective. This is like our home gallery, so we show our work there too. Mostly like new work, we will show there first before it travels to somewhere else. So that is Sasa Bassac. It's a gallery space, a resource and reading room space, and also Erin invited other guest curators to curate different like exhibition project in the space as well, trying looking at different model of engaging with the space in terms of curating. So there's another project that I mentioned that we wanted to do something else as the team of artists. We want to do, so we know that exhibition was sort of taken care of by Sasa Bassac. So we want to do something different from that. So that's the idea for Sasa Art projects. So very separate, and the focus is that we do a lot of experimental projects and any other engagement that is not exhibition. Basically anything except exhibition. We do everything except exhibition when we think we can. So we think about it as like a place where we can engage art, sort of like artistic activity or engagement that is beyond exhibition. We want to see it as where we can learn and grow together with other people. So it's an art education place, and also an experimentation, looking at different ways, different forms that we could engage. And the last one, more importantly, is we want to engage with simple audience, everyday audience. That they don't go to see gallery. So we have certain audience that go to see gallery already. So we want to connect with those that normally do not go to see gallery. So that's how we started. And the location was quite interesting because at first Ratana, he suggested, oh, you should go and check this apartment at the White Building. It's so interesting because he took some photo in that building before. So he thought, oh, this could be interesting. So we went to check that and started over time to learn more history about that place. So on the top is this white apartment building. It's actually the first public housing built in the 1960s during the independence period in Cambodia. And it housed artists, staff from the city hall and other civil servants. So low to mid-income urban residents. And actually it is part of this complex on the bottom here. It's called Bassac Riverfront Complex, which is a public cultural center. So the vision of the state at the time to build this complex that can function as a public housing, but also a cultural hub. So there's a national theater at the far right, that sort of pointed shape, that's the national theater. Behind that, this exhibition hall, and these are all residential. And there's a park, so the idea is this one sort of like harmonious, sort of like society, pro-public, pro-culture. So we thought about, oh, that's so interesting history and interesting site. And so we rent an apartment inside there. So that's originally it looks like that, and now it looks like this. So like not so white anymore, not very white, very gray, and trees sprouting up from the wall of the buildings, leakings and all the stuff. So very chaotic, sort of like and what interesting was so the building as well as Phnompehn city was abandoned during the Khmer Rouge from 75 to 79. And after that, when the Khmer Rouge fell, when people started to return back to the city, among the first residents who came back to this neighborhood were artists who survived from the regime. And it was estimated that only about 10% of the artists and intellectuals who survived the regime. So we're talking about, a very small number of artists. And so they returned back to this neighborhood and also started to practice dance and music and creating new work again, because it's next to the National Theater. And so the community sort of grew out again from that as a community of artists to also expand to other low-income urban residents. So today it housed more than 2,500 people, maybe up to, I don't know how, there's not real statistics, but approximate about that. And there's a generation of artists, performing artists and from the classical tradition, but with new generation of contemporary practitioners as well. Contemporary dancers, filmmakers, and all. Plus other sort of like low-income residents like street vendors, motor taxi driver, mechanics, all sorts. Everything mixed in this neighborhood. So we rented one small apartment in there to do our activity because we thought it's a very rich neighborhood. A lot of creative people there, but also interesting history. And actually, it's probably the only public housing now in Phnompehn city. Public housing in a sense that it's not really administered by the city. The government doesn't administer public housing services. So people sort of like take the ownership and claim that However, the city refused to give them license, ownership license. So they are in the gray area of their ownership. So the government has some power to manipulate or want to do something. So it's under sort of like threat for demolition and eviction because it's on a very precious land in the middle of the city, and the neighborhood nearby were already transformed. Other buildings that were built the same period, they were renovated and changed to new facility, private facility, and the National Theatre was knocked down, gone. Exhibition hall transformed into a bookstore. These sort of things. So we feel like there's something precious, important about this location. So we've been running different sort of things. We tried different things when we started from 2010. We did an artist in residence, performance workshop with artists and director of the performance festival, Shimoda, website blog training for artists, no? Artist talk, and some like software like Lightroom, like for example for photographer. So this sort of something simple skills that useful for artists, but also artistic workshop as well. So by 2013, so we tried different things, do different things. By 2013, we sort of formalized to be more like focused and sort of like we know a bit more about what we want to do. So mainly there are 4 components at Sasa Art project. One is art classes and workshops. 2 artist residencies. Third is collaborative projects and events. And the 4th is archiving what has been produced, artistic creation from our project and engagement. We want to make it accessible and available for the public and larger audience they can find. So classes and workshops, I just want to mention that we tend to make it all connected. So it's not separate. So it's all connected and linked to each other. For example, artists in residence, they would join and offer special workshops as kind of classes, or they join in some collaborative projects sort of like incorporate the workshops and classes element in the process, or that, and the archive, everything will go into the archive, but the archive also manifests into events as well, so try to make everything connected. So classes and workshop, we started very simple, like drawing workshop, something simple at the beginning, and then photography class, and we get students from the white building neighborhood and also from outside as well. And so from the very basic medium to, and the class is sort of like progress to a bit more like developing body of work and thinking about ideas, making art projects for students. So like something like this, like they do the drawing class, and then we team up, work together and renovate the back wall behind the community school, something like this, and the student painted about their dreams and wishes for their neighborhood. So something that we want to connect that it makes sense and useful for the student and for the neighborhood. Yes, for example, these are different sort of workshops that run by artists in residence. That was Anon Mongyal from Chiang Mai. He did residency with us, and he did a workshop with sound, and he worked together with a Cambodian uncle. He makes amplifier himself from like cigarette packs and some simple material. So he's so fascinated by him. So I want to work together with him in this workshop, so to inspire young people. And for example, there's an architect running a tour about the neighborhood, or the video artist running a video art workshop with our students and artists alike. This is a video class from 2012 to 15, and then the group from the video class, they form a collective themselves called White Building Collective, and they produce short films from the neighborhood, like micro stories about their neighbors and neighborhood. You know, some simple things or life stories or kid stories or community story, different sort of like small films. And the residency program we started continuously from 2013, so it's an ongoing program, and the title of the residency is called Bassac, which means to experiment in Cambodian or in Khmer. So we want the focus of the residency is also not targeting for exhibition. It's about experimenting and testing new ideas or trying to develop new work. So it's a process of developing and experimenting for artists. And they stay approximately 6 to 8 weeks in our studio in the White Building, and we hosted 1 to 2 artists at a time. Usually 1 year we host 5 to 6 residencies, and we provide accommodation, part-time admin support, and when we have funding, we support funding for artists, living allowance and material budget as well. And the artists who engage with us, we work with both Cambodian and artists from the region, from Asia, our focus, because we feel, yeah, there's always immediately when we talk about art, like, you know, many cases it would jump to the dominant art world, Europe or North America. So we thought, okay, maybe look just around us, the neighbors, have more conversations among neighbors. So mostly, yeah, the priority is looking at artists from the region. And when it is beyond that, we tend to be interested in artists like from South Africa, from where that is outside the dominant art world. And we're interested in practice that sort of like complements or different from what is happening in Cambodia. So to create some sort of like ingredient, it's like cooking, you put different ingredients. Hopefully it creates something interesting. And the residency itself, we focus on two ways exchange. So the artists can research and do whatever they want. And it doesn't have to be anything about the White Building. It can be anything. And so they research, they try to do something, it doesn't matter. However, we ask that artists also share that as well. So in either like a form of a workshop, a talk, open studio, something that they show that they share back, you know. So it's not they come learn and then go. Something we want to have a conversation and a process of sharing. And over time we try to create like a partnership with other residency spaces. So that's allowed sort of like an exchange of artists. Yeah. So these are some examples, and Noi is here. This is Noi in Phnompehn at the White Building. So yeah, at first I remember when you came, you started to put like this poster, like artists can draw and that you can draw them inside the house or something, and if you're interested, call mobile number, but nobody called you. No one called you. So you change the strategy to just like go on the street and put the poster, free drawing, and then people come to get you, right? And then you start to build conversation and then get invitation from them to the